In this video, we're going to dive into the essential steps to create a strong credit foundation that not only serves you today, but sets you up for better opportunities in the future. So whether you're just starting out or enhancing your credit, this is for you. What are the three main pillars of a lifelong credit foundation? First, we'll explore credit diversification, why it matters and how you do it right. Next, we'll dive into the types of accounts that should be on your credit report. And finally, we'll discuss the importance of strengthening your credit accounts because your financial journey is always going to be evolving. So let's dive in. Something I would like to mention that is not necessarily part of your foundation is that you should be maintaining your payments every single month. Missing one payment could significantly impact your score and drop it over 60 points. And this will make actually getting approved for any type of loan or debt product much harder. If you do get approved, the interest rates will be so much higher that it's going to be a lot more expensive to actually pay it off. So make sure that you actually maintain all of your accounts in current standing. You have auto pay set up. You don't miss any payments moving forward. So the first pillar is having credit diversification. The banks want to know whether you're able to handle different types of debt products and also managing multiple different accounts. This is important because if you're striving for a perfect 850 score, you actually need 21 accounts on your credit report. So if you're striving to really improve on this factor, you should have at least 4 primary accounts before you apply for business funding. And if you're going to apply for a car loan, for example, you should have had a car loan previously so that you can then strengthen your credit report and go for larger and larger loans as you progress. So it's really important to have different types of loans on your credit report so you can really show the banks that you're responsible, that you can manage different types of debts when you're moving forward and applying for new types of funding. The second pillar is having specific accounts on your report that can really strengthen your overall profile. So I would recommend at least having 2 personal credit cards on your report as a minimum so that you can actually show that you're maintaining low balances compared to the overall credit limits. And if you can, also adding an installment loan. So this could be having a student loan, an auto loan, or a mortgage. I wouldn't recommend just applying it just to have it on your report. Go and get one if you need it. Or you can also add a credit builder loan so that you can also add an installment loan without actually needing to purchase an asset. So by doing this, now you could add an installment loan to your credit account, which shows that you're able to pay off a loan every single month and further pay it off. Then having at least 2 personal credit accounts really helps you show that you can manage debt responsibly without maxing it out and going crazy. So I'd recommend at least having these 2 different types of accounts and 3 total. And then to hit that 4 threshold, I would recommend potentially adding an authorized user account so that you can then have an old account on your credit report or an account with a high credit limit. Having an old credit account allows you to increase your average credit age so that you can show more history on your credit file. If you're just getting started with credit, that's totally fine. It's really a long-term game and you want to strengthen your credit report through the right accounts and maintaining that on-time payments. But if you are trying to apply for business funding, for example, or you're wanting to apply for premium credit cards, having a longer history will be required in most cases. The first threshold to really hit for this factor is having an average age of 2 years. So if you know someone that would be able to add you to their credit card accounts, this would then show up on your credit report and that age would be added as a factor to your overall average. So this is one way to really help you strengthen your accounts, your overall credit profile. And then if the account also has a high credit limit, this will help you when it comes to applying for new credit cards because the banks want to know that you've been able to manage comparable debt. So if you've had high limits before, they'll feel more comfortable giving you high limits in the future. So the final pillar is strengthening your credit accounts. So depending on what type of debt product you want, it's good to actually strengthen the actual debt category so you can get better and better loans. Let's say, for example, that you wanted to purchase an exotic car that's really expensive and you want to go get a loan for it. Well, typically, even if you can show really high income and high net worth, because you've never handled an expensive auto loan before, the banks might not actually lend to you, even though you make that high income. So to do this, you would have to scale up your auto loans progressively to then be able to reach that milestone. So for this, typically, you're able to double the size of your auto loan every time you get one. So let's say, for example, your auto loan right now is $30,000. The next time you get one, you'll likely be able to get around $60,000, maybe a little bit higher. The next time you get about 120, and the next time you get about $250,000. So that's how you strengthen your auto loan purchases. When it comes to real estate, you're really backing it by an asset. Real estate's a really known product. You don't necessarily have to strengthen that one right there. But when it comes to personal credit cards, this actually is a really important factor. If you're wanting to apply for a premium credit card, or if you want a credit card with a high limit, or if you want to apply apply for business funding and get high limits on your business credit cards, it's really important that you have this comparable debt. If you've been able to manage a high credit limit before responsibly without maxing it out, without missing payments, the banks will be much more comfortable extending you a high credit limit once more. So when it comes to personal credit cards, if you have a high limit, they'll usually bump you up a little bit higher when it comes to a new one. But if you have a high credit limit on your personal side and you apply for business funding, the banks might extend you a 3 to 4 times higher credit limit. So let's say, for example, that you have a credit limit that's $5,000 right now, you might only go up to $15,000 to $20,000. But if you have a credit limit that's $10,000 on the personal side, the banks might give you up to $40,000 on that credit limit. So for this, it's really important that you progressively scale your credit card accounts by requesting credit line increases. This is something that you can do every 6 months, and all you have to do is simply call the number on the back of your credit card. You can request this credit line increase. Typically, I would ask for a decent bump of a couple $1,000s, and doing this over time will really help you build up these credit card accounts so that you have higher limits, and it also helps with credit utilization. So for example, let's say that you typically maintain a $1,000 balance on your credit card, but your credit limit is $1,500. Well, this utilization percentage would be 67%. But let's say you're able to bump it up to a credit limit of $5,000. Well, now that same $1,000 would only represent 20% of your overall utilization. So strengthening up your credit card accounts helps you become a stronger borrower and have a better credit profile in regards to having high limits, but also it helps you with your utilization percentage, which really helps when it comes to your overall credit score. So that's how you strengthen your credit card accounts. So there you have it. This is how you add strategic accounts to your credit file and how you strengthen them so you become a better borrower moving forward. You can really benefit for this by saving money and getting better approval results. And overall, just think about this as a long-term game plan. There's no need to rush into adding a lot of accounts if it doesn't make sense at the moment. You cannot increase your credit limits without actually going about it as a long-term game plan. But the great thing here is that once you build this foundation, you can leverage this for forever moving forward. So I really recommend that you do take the time to take these steps, add these accounts, ask for those credit limit increases over time, and eventually you have such a strong foundation that you can apply for these different loans or credit cards. You'll have very high chances of approvals, and you'll get such lower rates that it'll become a lot more affordable for you to then purchase better assets. So hopefully this helps you out. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below, and be sure to subscribe so you can learn more credit hacks and how to best leverage funding for your business to scale.